welcome back to the Gay Agenda podcast. Now, today is definitely a different kind of episode. We have some scheduling difficulties when it comes to just like getting a recent podcast episode done with me and Kyle together, mainly because we've both been traveling and we recently just have not been able to like sit down for like a day and like do a whole hour and a half. So we decided that at least for like one or two episodes we can do like just me, and then once he's back in town, which he literally just got back, but we still have to like sit down and like do one. um we'll get to that. So it's like for today and for another episode podcast, it's just going to be me on the podcast. And for those who are new, hello, my name is James, and me and my close friend, really best friend Kyle, and I do this podcast together called The Gay Agenda, which we talk about all things gay and really just everything that I feel like we've not talked about as like a gay community, or even things that we're just afraid to talk about. And not even just that, but also like really all things that encompass it. So I did tell myself, as well as me and Kyle came up with the thought process, that we should try to kind of keep the episodes to about 30 minutes each. Because I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, we have been just honestly like hour to hour and a half long episodes, and it can just become a lot. So what we're gonna do is try to tighten up a bit, but also still have fun and stuff. But it's totally a different thing when you're doing a podcast episode by yourself versus doing it with someone that you get to like bounce commentary off of. So just keep in mind that today is a different type of episode, whereas like later, like within an episode or two, Kyle will be back with us to keep on discussing all things gay. So without any further ado, I'm just kind of gonna jump into how I feel like I want to do the episode today. And really, it's kind of like touching in on like how I've been, if there's really anything new. And to be honest, I feel like there has been a lot that's been going on, just in general. Like, I feel like school starting up again for me for this summer semester has been an adjustment, especially with recent thought processes I've been having with schooling and like with the direction that I want my life to go. So there's a whole bunch of different things that I've been thinking on and having to like contemplate and reflect and think about it in different ways. So it's been an interesting past couple of, I would say, like weeks, but in reality the last week or two have just been kind of just readjusting into, I guess, my normal flow of things, my normal routine. For those of you who don't know, I had been traveling quite a bit recently, mainly because I've had time off of, some of my schooling, as well as, having chunks of time where I can do really what I want. And it's been such a good time. I've been enjoying traveling, and, I just again went recently to Miami and also visited Fort Lauderdale and Orlando. So like I'm seeing a whole bunch of different places. Yes, granted they're all in Florida, sadly, but the goal is I have a trip coming up at the end of the month that's going to be for New York. So like I'm going to be traveling, but I'm also taking the time to kind of just work on me, work on things that are like important to me and things that I want to like see myself get to and grasp by like a certain time in this year. So, and that's for one thing, is like the podcast. Like I'm trying to like actually stay on I guess a goal of mine, and like like stick it out, keep going, try different things, but sorry, I just literally ate and I like feel like something was stuck. Um but yeah, so like things have just been interesting. I'll say that. Um, I feel like with me and Kyle both traveling, it kind of sucks because I feel like some I guess opportunities get missed out on. Like we don't get to like travel nearly as much together as I feel like we wanted to. But we're gonna see how that goes over time. we have plenty of time to travel and do all types of things. Um, but I definitely do miss my buddy, and we're going to, just get back into the swing of stuff once me and him get together again. Um, but yeah, before I jump into today's episode, I guess one last thing is that for those who don't know, I do make music, and I also do a lot, well, literally everything when it comes to my craft, like all the music videos, all the editing, all the audio editing, everything, like singing, songwriting, all of it. So I've been doing a lot with that. I have a new project coming out. By the time you guys hear this, the release date is going to be public. So, for those who are interested, I am releasing a brand new 13-track indie pop album called A Creative. That is A dash Creative. And it is basically an album surrounding the idea of the gay life through my own eyes, as well as in a way that's soft but honest. That also brings in like a lot of different indie sounds and very reflective and peaceful paradise kind of sounds. So you'll see what I mean when you guys hear the project, but it is by far my most proud to date project I've ever done. I feel like it's my best so far, and that's great because I'm still growing and learning with music and um, trying my hand at things like this. So I personally am so excited for you guys to see every single thing. I already have two full music videos out for the project, for the song 2000, as well as for the song Introvert with Altruistic Moods. And then I have a full lyric, visualized music video for another song of mine called Fruit Loop, which is also on the project. And then the full thing comes out July 5th. I do have two other music videos that are going to be coming out. Um, I am just still kind of in my mind wondering if I'm going to want to push them out before the launch of the full project. But in my mind, I'm kind of like, I'm wanting to release the project and then release two music videos for it, like 2 weeks apart after the project's released, because I feel like that gives plenty of time for people to sit with the project, but then to also kind of jump back into the visual aesthetics of the project and what it really is bringing. So I am just so excited, and I can't wait for people to hear it. But besides that, of course, in my mind, I'm already working on new things. So I have stuff going on. That's all I can say. But I'm so excited for you guys to see this project that I've been working on for like literally 2 years. So I'm just so excited. But besides that, everything else has been fine with me. Love life is pretty much the same. Not really trying to get into that. Kind of more focused on me right now, and more focused on what I want to bring out to the world and all types of shit like that. So I hope you guys are ready. And without any further ado, we're going to jump into today's episode. And that topic is love bombing, breadcrumbing, and love withdrawal. So, a lot of people don't really know what these are, but I'm going to break it down as simple as possible. So, love bombing to me, and to what I feel like most people know it as, is the act of someone who say they have this romantic interest in you, or they show this interest in you at the beginning of a relationship. They're going to do a lot of things that are going to show in their way that they love and care about you, which may be buying you a lot of gifts right off the bat, or taking you out to a lot of different, experiences, like going to restaurants and then going to like events together, but all in the beginning of this relationship, or in the beginning of what it is that you're building with this person. And eventually, after just maybe, it could literally be a week, it could be a little longer than a week, it could be like 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe even a month or two down the road, they just stop showing that up there, like that same level of um like well, what I would say is like affect, or like how they would show their emotion to you. They don't show that same level. They don't do nearly the same things. They may be pulling back as what it would feel like. Um, but really what it is that they just love bombed you. It happens so often, so quickly, especially in the gay community, like gay male community, because it just seems like, one, I think, and this is my take on it, my spin, is that I think that when people love bomb someone, it's because they are trying to get them to be like, oh, like this person is worth sticking around for, right? But then once that person who love bombs the other person gets what they want, and the other person starts to care about them a lot, then they pull away. So it's almost like, and if I'm gonna again throw another spin on it, this is my psychological spin, is that basically it's saying that one person is anxious in the relationship in the very beginning, so they're gonna do a lot of different things to try to get that other person to stay. So once that other person, who would in this sense be avoidant and would not really be susceptible to the effects of love bombing, or their tricks or whatever, um, once they start to open up and be like, oh, you know what, I kind of like this person, then that's when the dynamic shifts, and that's when everything flip-flops. Now the person who was love bombing you may become avoidant, and they may be like, ooh, never mind, and they start pulling away, right? While you, on the other hand, just basically got hooked on their love bombing. So now you're like, wait, I actually kind of like them. And now it's getting stronger. Now I have this emotional attachment to this person, but they're using what they just did, which was love bombing, to make you fall for them. And I've seen this happen so many times. It's happened to me so many times. And I'm like, girl, when the hell am I going to learn? But now I know more. I feel like I've had multiple experiences now where now I can be like, yeah, I don't ever want to go through that again. Um, I'll give an example on a more recent one. Actually, there was like two. One that sticks out to me the strongest is that there was this one time I was pursuing what I thought was going to be a romantic situation. I really thought the boy was like super, super cute, and like he was giving me all these like really gentleman like behaviors. Um, and then eventually, within like, I would say like a couple days, he was trying to like pull up to my house and like always be at my house. It was very weird. It was like he just wanted all of his attention, or wanted all of my attention, but was willing to give all of his attention. And then within like the next day or two, he literally bought me, I'm not kidding, traveled like, I would say about 45 minutes to come to my house, but brought me, I'm not joking, like I would say $100 worth of like baked goods from this grocery place that he's like, it's the best place. It's literally like the best bakery. And he did it all like that quickly. And then literally the next day, I'm not joking, comes to my house and has a whole rose and a whole like thing. It was literally like chocolates and like just different candies. And I'm like, what in the fuck is happening? I'm like, what? I'm like, I've done nothing to show this man that I am as nearly attached to him as he's showing me. And lo and behold, after just a little bit of time, once I started to give in to him a bit, he started to pull back. So I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to give into this. And so I just pulled back completely. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this. Oh, you're going to be nice to me and do all these really great things. And then once I start to open up to you and allow that to happen, you pull away. Like, no. Because at this point, when this happened, I had already gone through a few other relationships. So it's like I already knew of some of these signs, but it did take one more experience of love bombing after that particular scenario that really took me over the edge. Um, and actually, very weirdly, similarly, the scenario that happens after what I just told you guys, it was similar in the sense of like gifting and buying and acts of service towards me. But then once I started to, I feel like bring reality into play a bit with this person, but also um, like showing this person that, okay, now I'm actually kind of starting to like you. They pulled away, got anxious. Um, well, anxious, avoidant, really, because they were anxious in the beginning and then became avoidant. But it was just the weirdest thing. Like, I don't know, like, and it makes you question if like love is really like gonna be there for you one day, because it's like if you're only getting it at an extreme amount in the very beginning of the relationship with really any gay man, then like how the hell is it gonna get better? That's always my thought process, but I've been better now at shifting it because I'm like, girl, I know I don't deserve that shit. Like I deserve great stuff. I deserve a great guy who's gonna want to show me love all the time and not just in the beginning of this like dynamic that starts to be built between us. Um, so yeah, so the love bombing is never a cute or fascinating or great experience. It's always, in my opinion, kind of just like the other person doesn't know how to show love appropriately, so they do it in the most drastic way in the very beginning. So that's my take on it. But for those who have a different take, I would love to hear your take on love bombing and what that means to you. If you've had a crazy ass love bombing story, I would love to hear it. Um, and of course, for those who are new to the podcast, if you have any stories or want to like share your tidbits or even comment on this episode, you can do so on whatever platform you're on, but also go to the official Gay Agenda podcast at gmail.com and send us an email with your stories. And me and Kyle will go over them within the next episode or two. So definitely do that. But yes, so that leads me into the second portion, or second, I guess, little subtopic for today, which is breadcrumbing. Now, this is a secondary, I would say, effect from love bombing. In my mind, the way that this episode kind of should work mentally for people is to think of love bombing as the general first thing that happens in a relation with someone who can't like emotionally control themselves to the level that they can show to like you. Breadcrumbing is a secondary effect from love bombing, which is really what they're doing to keep your attention if they really are just trying to keep you strung along, while the very last thing, which is love withdrawal, is the complete takeaway of love. Like it's completely gone. Like that's like completely pulled away from you. Um, so breadcrumbing, in example wise, is basically like, say if one person was love bombing someone, right? And they feel like, oh, okay, like I'm starting to like this person, right? But then the other person who was love bombing starts to pull away. Um, but they really aren't gonna just totally dispose of you yet. They might put you on like the back burner, and you might be a back burner or a secondary option for this person. But they're going to breadcrumb you along the way over time, basically giving you just enough affection or just enough love or just enough attention or just enough of what you want from them to keep you around in a way that is not healthy, right? And this happened to me not too long ago, but when this happened to me, I actually like, I started to like see things a lot more clear for like what relationships are and at least what it is in the gay community, gay male community for me. Um, and so now I'm like, wow, I'll never let someone do that to me again. Like, what the hell? Like, I felt like I was at my lowest, for that to happen, even though I didn't know that. So like it was so weird, but um yeah, I think the person knows who they are, because Actually, there's no, I can't even say that because it's not fair. I feel like there are multiple people who have done that shit to me. So, yeah. Anywho, moving on. Um, yeah, so breadcrumbing is that. If y'all have had a situation like that, I would love to hear. Um, I feel like those situations can differ so drastically because it can look different for a lot of people. Um, like some people can breadcrumb you with like words of affirmation and be like, use the word baby like maybe ever so often, but that's still a form of breadcrumbing. Or them saying, oh yeah, like we'll get together soon, but then they never specify when soon is, even when you try to set a specific time frame or a date or whatever, it's still like never enough. So I hate that shit. Like that's probably one of the more frustrating, weird little devices that people use, um, to form or maintain or get or have a relationship. It's just weird to me. Um, but I feel like I see why people do it. And it's just like, I don't want to be a person or be on the other end of it. Um, to feel like I'm just being drug along, basically. Like, it's grimy. It's grimy. But yeah, so that leads me into, I guess, the final little topic point for today's episode, which is love withdrawal. Okay. Like I had said, love withdrawal is quite literally the person completely pulling away their love. This can be seen in like two different ways. One would be where the person withdraws their affection and they become cold and distant to you, even though you may have not done anything directly to them. They may have just a flip of a switch decided this person is not going to be this person for me or isn't going to be the person for me. So I'm going to give them unconditional love and basically, or unconditional love, sorry, conditioned love. And because they're not meeting a condition I have set or an expectation I have set for them, I'm going to completely withdraw my love or my affection. So they're left in the dust. And it's kind of similar to ghosting, I would say, but not really, because ghosting is like you can or can't have a reason and you could still do it. But I feel like love withdrawal is like you it's a byproduct of not meeting conditional love standards or expectations from one person. That's how I see it. And the secondary way I feel like would be, like I said, they just don't show you any compassion, anything, and they kind of just pretend that whatever they had built with you, even if it was for like good 2 weeks or a month, like they'll pretend that shit isn't real. Like they'll literally pretend that whatever you felt or whatever y'all had was like fake or some shit. Like that's really how sometimes it comes off. Um, but I don't know, like I want to know y'all's take on these three particular things because they're so similar, they're intertwined, they kind of are like cause and effect in a way with one another. And I feel like it's just been something that we've seen, like me and Kyle have seen in the gay community that we've been dying to talk about. And I wish he was on this this podcast episode with us right now because I know he would have so much to say about it. And who knows, maybe I might even do like on the next episode that he's on, maybe just do a little like, oh, like what did you think about, the last episode or whatever and get his thoughts on it too. But um yeah, there's just a lot that can go on with those three things. Like love bombing, annoying, breadcrumbing, annoying, love withdrawal, fucking weird. Like it's just weird. But again, everyone's stories can look different because everyone's relationships will look different. Um, but really, I feel like the key takeaway from this is, don't give everyone the benefit of the doubt all the time. I mean, you can if that's how you are as a person. I definitely can be like that. But sometimes look at some of the behaviors that some people are doing or showing you when they are trying to show interest in you or love or whatever, and kind of think about it as like, is this healthy? Am I is this like gonna benefit me? Is this gonna add to my life and not take away or add stress? Like these are real questions you should be thinking about, and that I've been thinking about so much more recently. Um, and really, like, another thing is like love and dating and trying things out in the gay world should kind of be like this, like in my mind, this should be a universal thing, is like love and security should be at the base of that. Like on all of that, like dating, even friendships, like love and security within friends should be a thing that we should be looking at as well, you know? So if you feel like you're talking to someone, or you're in a situation, or you're in a relationship, with your partner, and you feel like you're having to question those two things, like love and security, then I would take a little deep dive, maybe some reflecting, and really utilize, like, I guess, opinions that are going to only benefit you, you know? Um, but yeah, today's episode, interesting, right? But still, there is so much to cover when it comes to love, dating, relationships in the gay world. And that's what we're going to continue to explore in a couple of the next upcoming ones, like the next upcoming podcast episodes. But we do have a whole bunch of different little podcast episodes that are going to be in between that, to give variety and talk about different things. And oh gosh, we have so much to talk about. It's like never ending. So I hope you guys at least enjoyed today's episode podcast. I hope I did better at trying to condense and like keep things to like directly to the point. Um, I know if it was me and Kyle doing this at the same time, we'd both be doing literally like this podcast episode would definitely be double the length. It would be at least 45 to an hour. So yeah, let me know how you guys think about that. And let me know what you guys would like to see for another or the next podcast episode, whether that's with me or if it's with me and Kyle. But I can't wait to get to the next episode with you guys and talk more about all things tea, all things gay. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next episode of The Gay Agenda. All right, see you guys later. Bye.